and welcome. I'm Allison, and today we are going to go through a little bit of stretching and rolling. All you're going to need is a place on the floor, a foam roller, can be a short one, can be a long one, either will do, and a small ball. I use a lacrosse ball, but you could use a pinky ball, which is a little bit softer, or a tune-up ball. You could also use something slightly larger than this, but nothing too large because we are going to be using it on our back, and a golf ball is probably a little too small, but in a pinch you could try it. Tennis balls are also great. So let's go ahead and start with just some stretching. We're going to go into cat-cow just to mobilize the spine a little bit. In case you're joining me for this and you haven't warmed up yet, if you're not doing this as a post-workout stretch and you just wanted a little stretching and rolling, we want to make sure that we're a little warm before we get into all that. Couple more cat-cows. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and spread our knees as wide as our mat if you're using a mat, or otherwise pretty wide. Go ahead and tuck those toes in together. We're going to sit back into a child's pose. With this child's pose, I want you to walk your hands as far forward as you possibly can. Feel free to relax your head down on the ground, sitting your hips down close to your heels. So we're really opening up through the lats. Those are those big muscles in our backs. We have 4 deep breaths here. Two more. Last one. Awesome. I would like for you to walk your right hand to the outside of your mat and then begin to bring your left hand over to grab onto your right wrist. You should now feel your side body on the left opening up. Couple big breaths here. Last one. And we'll repeat on the other side. So walking our left hand over to the outside of the mat, bringing that right arm across, really thinking about sinking the hips back and down. Shoulders away from the ears. Last one. Beautiful. Walking it back to center, coming up on all fours. We're going to go into a shoulder stretch. So we're going to bring the left arm up, thread it underneath, palm facing up, dropping down onto your shoulder. Do you need a little bit more of a stretch? You can use that right hand to press your weight back, creating a little traction in the shoulder. One more breath here. Beautiful. Coming out of that onto the other side, reaching up, threading under, palm facing up, pressing back. Two more breaths. Last one. Wonderful. Coming up from there, go ahead and grab your foam roller. And we are actually going to roll the tops of our forearms with our foam roller. We'll do one at a time. I'm going to place my left on there. I'm going to give a little bit of pressure, whether you use your forearm of your other hand, other arm, or you can use your hand. It's really up to you. But we're just going to roll from the wrist to the elbow without going over any bones. Now, if this kneeling position is not ideal for you, you can also do this from a standing position. Just place your roller on a countertop or a table. One more pass. Good. And then we're just going to flip over. Same thing. We're rolling now. The underside of the forearm. If you want not as broad of a surface, it is more intense if you do this with the ball. I typically recommend doing it with the ball on an elevated surface though, not the ground. It's a little hard to get the right angle. One more. Awesome. Let's switch to the other side. Palm facing up first. If you spend a lot of time at the computer, you can find that your forearms actually get very tight. It can cause pain in the elbows. It can cause pain in the wrists. And I know for me, I'm right-handed, so my mousing hand tends to be a little bit tighter. Good, and flip it over. And adjust your roller in whatever way you need to in order to get the right angle for you. If you find a spot, you're welcome to stay there and just kind of roll over it gently, helping release that trigger point. Awesome. From here, we're going to actually go into a little stretch. So place fingertips back towards you, palms on the ground, and sit back. You should notice a stretch here through your forearms where we just rolled. By doing some rolling, we actually warmed up those muscles to be ready to take on this stretch. Two more deep breaths here. One more. Beautiful. All right. So let's go ahead and take our roller to our back. So sit right in front of your roller. You're going to lean back on your roller and then pick a side. I'm going to turn away from you for this one. So you can see my spine is here. I'm not on my spine. I'm going to lift my booty ever so slightly, and I'm going to roll from the top of my glutes to my lower ribs. Really keeping my weight on that right side for me. Could be whichever side you're doing right now. Make sure it's not on your spine, and make sure you're not rolling up into the ribs. You do have ribs that will move around. We don't want anything to happen to them. Good, and let's switch to the other side. So again, sitting right in front of the roller, leaning back and picking a side. For me, I'm on my left now. Good. Really taking your time. This is not fast. We can't actually get much done if we speed through things. So really take your time. Show your body the love it deserves. Whether you sit at a desk all day or you work out all day, that's hard work for your body to hold those positions and to do those things for long durations of time. So we really want to make sure we're doing this release work. Awesome. All right, from there, this is where our ball is going to come in handy. We are going to place our ball at the top of our glutes, but next to our spine, not on the spine at any point in time. We are never going over any bones. So I'm going to place that my left side right there at the top of my glutes, bottom next to my spine, and I'm going to, it's on my left side, I'm going to shift my hips to the right, because what I'm trying to do is pull that muscle away from the spine. Good. and stay down there at the bottom for about 3 or 4 pulls, and then we'll move it. Go ahead and move it with your hand up one, half a vertebra, one vertebra. Good. And really just sinking down next to the spine, never on the spine, never on any bone, and then really pulling those muscles away from the spine. So you have little core muscles called multifidi, and they support and protect the spine, but sometimes they can get adhered like any other muscle, limiting your range of motion. Go ahead and adjust it up again, one more spot, and limiting your ability to move through your spine. And so we just want to release those so that we can properly move and your joints can take on the strain they're supposed to at the appropriate angles they're supposed to. Good. One more time. Now, if you've gotten to your lower ribs, make sure you go down because we're not rolling over any bone. But right around here, you might be getting to a very sensitive spot. And that very sensitive spot is as you're pulling out, it's almost to the edge of where you're rolling to. And that is where your psoas and your QL connect. Your psoas and your QL are the two muscles that keep you from tipping over. Your QL keeps you from going side to side, and your psoas front and back. So we use those muscles all day long, and we often have really irritated psoas. Psoas cause about 80% of low back pain because we spend too much time seated. So this can really help alleviate that. Good. And let's switch to the other side. So we're starting down right above the glutes, next to the spine. And this time we're shifting our hips to the left, pulling that ball out to the right. Really sinking in each time. And you might notice that you're tighter on one side than the other, totally normal. But that tightness does tell you that your body is forming some form of a compensation pattern in order to help you move through your day. So over time, we want to unravel those compensation patterns. Go ahead and move it up one vertebra and get things, nothing will ever be in perfect alignment, but get things in alignment by doing the strengthening and the release work that we need to do. Compensation patterns can form from overuse, from trauma, but also from inactivity. So it's a little bit hard to get the perfect combination. Go ahead and move it up again. But generally, moving your body every day and doing some foam rolling every day will be beneficial. Good. One more time. And hopefully you're not in your lower ribs yet, but hopefully you are getting up there closer to that psoas QL that I mentioned before, where it might be just a little more sensitive. You're spending a little extra time here just because it's so often neglected and because so many people spend so much time seated and they experience pain because of it. So we want to help them get out of it. One more. Awesome. Come off of that ball. Go ahead and pull both knees to chest. Hopefully you'll notice your low back is a little bit more open, but let's draw a couple circles. And the other direction. Good. Go ahead and extend that left leg, pulling that right knee to chest. And then we're going to use the left hand to pull that right knee across the body, extending the right arm out, keeping that right shoulder connected with the ground. You're in this nice spinal twist that's helping to open up our chest for 3 more long, deep breaths. Two more. One more. Beautiful. Back to center. Extend the right leg, pull the left knee to chest. Extending that left arm out, pulling that left knee across to the right side. Remember, your goal is to keep that left shoulder connected with the ground. Hope you open up through the chest on the left side. Breathe into any areas of tightness or discomfort. Two more big breaths, allowing the body to fully relax. One more. Good. Coming back to center, pulling both knees to chest, rocking yourself up to a seated position. Go ahead and grab your roller. We're going to place it behind you. We're going to place it right where your bra line is or would be, or right below the shoulder blades. We're going to have our hands behind our head, and we're going to start by just arching over the roller and coming back up. So we're not rolling just yet. We're just working on a little bit of mobility. So arching over. It's okay if you can't go as far as me. One more. Good. Now move that roller up just ever so slightly. The same thing. Arching over. Working on mobility through the thoracic spine. Awesome. Moving it up again. Depending on how your body feels, you may find that you have more tightness in one area than another. Good. And last one. Good. Bringing that roller back to where your bra line or bottom of the shoulder blades is. We're going to lift our booty off the ground. Holding our head in our hands, we're going to roll towards our head, and as we do, we drop our head down. As we roll back towards the bra line, we crunch forward ever so slightly. So keep those elbows wide. You are not pulling on the neck. Good. This one is often a favorite of people who spend a lot of time at the computer. Good. One more pass all the way up and all the way down. Good job. All right. Go ahead and finish this upper body roll and stretch by giving our abdominals a little stretch. So go ahead and bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Elbows are tucked in. We're going to press up into Sphinx and start here. If this feels like enough stretch for you, go ahead and stay here. If not, press into your palms, pressing up, getting a nice stretch through the abdominals. Big breath. One more. Good. And begin to look over your right shoulder. Make sure you're not crunching into your low back. One more breath. Good. Other side. Last big breath. Good. Back to center, lower down. When you're ready, press yourself up and back into one more child's pose. Allowing your spine to round as you come up. Thank you so much for joining me for this 20 minutes of upper body rolling and stretching. It has been my honor to be here with you, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.